Welcome back to Remade in California, where we talk about everything from the economy to education. Today's half-hour show, we're talking about reinventing yourself later in life. Joining us now is celebrity journalist Reba Merrill, who's traveled the world and interviewed some of the biggest names in Hollywood. She is the author of Nearly Famous, Tales from the Hollywood Trenches. Welcome, Reba.
Thank you,
So glad
Pat.
you're here. So impress me. Give me a quick list of your top
people?
celebrities.
Okay, well, I had an attitude about Johnny Depp. I thought he was this bad boy that did nothing but destroy things, and he turns out to be a charmer.
Oh, great.
I think there's an advantage being an older woman. I could be charmed. And I guess my favorites are two that you will be surprised.
Yeah.
I would say Cher, who actually, this was for Mask, and it was a campaign to try to get her an Oscar nomination. She gets
Okay.
it on the next film. She didn't get it on Mask. And she talked. And she really, really talked.
Oh, opened up, huh?
Very. And this was my second interview for my new company. I was still new.
You started your career later in life. Was that difficult?
I won an Emmy, and nobody, 18 companies didn't want me.
Right.
I had to do something that was not easy to do. I had to look in the mirror and say, what can I do well?
Okay.
And I could only do one thing well, which was interview. And if that's the case and nobody wants me, how can I figure out to do what I love to do and still let no one see I'm doing it? And so that was what was churning in my mind, and I come up with this idea. Because doing a local talk show, you get invited to Hollywood to do movie star interviews.
Right.
Well, it's called a junket, and there's only 50 journalists that can go on this junket.
Right.
Well, at the time, there were 1,600 television stations. And I thought, well, I'm a good interviewer. What would happen if I got television stations to do my interviews? I would give it to them free because the studio would pay me.
Right.
That's just,
Okay.
and I was very lucky.
That's great. Tell me some of your best interviews.
I would say the one that surprised me the most was Harrison Ford.
Okay.
He is tough.
Okay.
He's tough.
In what way tough?
He expects you to do your homework, and most of the people on a junket do not have the time to do their homework.
Okay.
And I'm not going to tell you about the first one. I did interview him for Star Wars. I didn't know who he was, and he certainly didn't know who I was.
Yeah, right.
But the next time I interview him is for Air Force One, and I walk into the suite and I said to him, "Don't worry about the questions, I know all the answers." And that phrase changes my life with him forever.
Okay.
Because I'm saying, you're important enough that I did my homework.
Oh, that's great.
And when, in this particular interview, the tape stops because I was given a 20-minute interview, I don't hear it. He hears it. He looks at the camera that's on him and says, "Put in another tape, we're not finished."
Oh, wow.
He could have walked.
That never happens.
Never.
How does a woman, we know pop culture says women have a harder time of it, how do you stay relevant in Hollywood?
You get your face done with fillers. You read everything. You go every place if you can stay up long enough. Because you're talking about pop culture over 50. Well, you have to get to pop culture over a woman of a certain age.
Right.
And it's not easy. But if you have passion, you make it your job to stay relevant.
And I know you've interviewed some people whose lives ended tragically, like Robin Williams. Are there any lessons that you learned from interviews like that, or that you can share with us?
Well, Robin was interesting. I had actually figured him out. After 6 interviews with him, I realized that he was very shy. And that if you weren't smart as an interviewer, and you asked him a question, he would then go on and do a 5-minute routine, and you never asked another question. And I learned to take control of the Robin Williams interview so that I could get what I wanted. This was a question that I was surprised that he answered, is that his father was a major executive from Ford. And I said, how do you go tell your father that you're going to go into show business, which is kind of like being a bum?
Yeah.
And he said that his father was so supportive of him, and I think that's what it takes. The best thing about that is that he put his money where his mouth is, and he does a scholarship, and I get to meet the young girl who's now famous. Her name is Jessica Chastain, and she got to go.
Because of his
Because of
being
him.
an angel.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the part I like.
Are celebrities still as accessible as
No.
when you
Oh, what I did doesn't exist anymore.
Okay.
If you want to sit down with a star related to the release of the film, you don't get one. You get two. You get the star, or you get the director, or you get the two co-stars.
Well, thank you for your time. For more information on Reba, go to our website where you'll find more of her celebrity interviews with some of our favorite movie stars, RebaMerrill.com. You can also find her book, Nearly Famous, Tales from the Hollywood Trenches, there as well. And for more information on how California's community colleges can help you be remade in California, maybe become a talk show host, go to doingwhatmatters.ccco.edu.